Okay. This podcast is how to make a pro-level podcast using real research that even experts will love. Okay, so I'm going to show you the final result just so you get excited straight away. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to create this podcast in under 10 minutes. The podcast is actually longer than the amount of time it's going to take to create, which is crazy. Okay, have a listen to this.
All right. We're diving deep today into something I know you're all fascinated by.
Oh, yeah.
The potential for extending not just our lifespan, but our health span.
All right.
You know, those years where we're not just alive, but really thriving.
Now, I know it's American accents, so I can't really help that. But anyway, that podcast goes for 10 minutes. It's based on 4 research papers that have hundreds of citations. And I'm just going to show you how I created that podcast with 2 avatars talking to each other. Okay, now this is also great for if you wanted to do research on an essay, if you were studying for an exam and you needed some cited papers to do your research. So I can show you how that's you can use it for that as well. But yeah, so if you had anything that you wanted to know about, like my personal fascination at the moment is longevity medicine. As you can see, I'm not getting any younger. I'm 55 next month. And I would love to see medicine in the next 10 to 20 years get to the point where we can start reverse aging and get our health back to optimum levels and even, aesthetically look better as well. And I know from a lot of people that I follow on YouTube and different podcasts that there are a lot of optimistic people investing lots of money into this area. So if I do a general search on, say, ChatGPT, excuse me, I'm using the premium account here. I'm just going to use the regular ChatGPT rather than one of these custom ones that I've built, which I can show you how to do that later. But let's just type in, for example, how long will people live in the future? Just a real general question. And it's saying it will extend significantly due to breakthroughs in longevity science. In the next 20 to 50 years, average lifespan expected to reach up to 120 years. Mid-future, 50 to 100 years, we could even extend life to 150 years. So there could be hope for me yet. But it's basically giving summaries, general knowledge. Bottom line, if breakthroughs continue at the current pace, living to 120 to 150 years will be achievable for many. I would hope that it was faster than that because I might miss the boat otherwise. But okay, so that's the general answer from ChatGPT based on information from the internet and just general information that's been put out there on the web for the last 10 or 20 years. But what I'd really like to do, imagine if I was, say, studying for an essay, I couldn't just really copy this and tweak it and put it into an essay. This has got no citations. I don't know where this information's come from. It's probably just been scraped off the internet, and you don't really know where that's come from. So if I wanted to get something a bit more credible, more information that was credible, I would really need to go to the source, the research papers and the source of those research papers. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And then from there, we're going to go and make a podcast from that information. So the first site I'm going to go to is called Elicit.com. So Elicit.com, and we are going to find the top research papers on a topic. So it could be any topic. And I'm going to choose age, reversal, and longevity, which I've pre-typed in there just to speed things up a little bit. But it could be anything. So when you type in the topic that you like, it's going to bring you up the 4 most popular papers based on these keywords. So I found a few different ones here that look quite interesting. This one has 353 citations. The next one has 184 citations. So very highly credible research papers. Now, again, just to speed things up, I have downloaded some of these PDFs. So the way you download the PDF is you go to the source here of the PDF that interests you. And quite often, the PDF is quite easy to access and just download straight to your hard drive. So I've done that with all the different sources. If you can't find the PDF, if you can't find the source, say this example here, you can just copy that into Google and type that term plus PDF into Google, and it's most likely you'll be able to find the source, which I was able to do with this one. So I've downloaded these PDFs. I've put them in my download folder. Now the next stage, once you've got your PDFs that you're interested in, all the very specific papers on the subjects you like, then you go to the next site, and it's called notebooklm.google.com, another free site. I think it's part of the Google suite, and you upload the sources into this. It's basically another large language model. It's a little bit like ChatGPT, but it's more specified. It's not scraping stuff from the net. It's scraping stuff from the papers that you've uploaded, or all the different sources. It can be even a website that you put. You can add a source of a website if you wanted to. You could say, you could choose a URL. Where have we got here? Link. You could add a website to your sources, or a YouTube video even, which is cool. So you could almost source your own source. So once I've added these sources, now I can type a question like I did before in ChatGPT. You can type any question and say, how long will we live? We live in 50 years. And now, based on these 4 research papers that I've downloaded, very credible research papers, it's giving me a lot more specific information, and it's giving me the sources of that information. So it's saying it's difficult to predict, which is fair enough. It's going into some of the details: caloric restriction, plant-based diets, exercise metformin, which is a drug that's been used for diabetes, I remember. And all this information is cited, so you can click on any of the information and see where it's come from and get more in depth if you want to. Stem cell therapies. I'm very big on stem cell because I'm alive today because of stem cell therapies. I actually had lymphoma when I was 38, and I had stem cell transplants at 40 and 41, and that's kept me. I'm back to full health now, which is great. Okay, so once you get the answers you want, you can either use this information and put it back into a regular large language model and customize it more to your tone of voice. So you could use Claude, or you could use ChatGPT, paste some of this information there and say, now put this in my tone, make it more casual sounding, if it sounds too technical. So you could go to another website and do that. But the real wow factor I find with this site, and even the podcasts I've seen that describe how to use this have not mentioned this before, you can actually it actually generates a podcast for you. So I'm going to get rid of this one, but I've already played it to you earlier. I'm going to delete that one. But yeah, when you generate the podcast, you can actually customize it. You can say, all right, I want it to focus on certain things. So I could say focus on 50-year-olds. This is my age bracket. So if I wanted a podcast more focused on 50-year-olds and how long we live this century. So if I have specific things I want them to address, I can go generate. And then this is what the generation takes, about 1 or 2 minutes. And you end up with a conversation which I played you earlier, but it will focus more on the points that you've put into it. So this is awesome. So hopefully this has been really useful. So as you can see, just in a matter of minutes, you can research a topic you really like, find the research papers that interest you, upload them to a website, which is called notebooklm.google.com, and then create a podcast from that. So I'll leave the website links at the bottom of this YouTube video or this podcast, so you can click and experiment yourself, and hopefully enjoyed it. I'm going to start listing all of the AI tools and the links I use on my website, which is theshortcutsociety.com, as well as the relevant ones that I list on the bottom of each podcast. So yeah, subscribe to this channel if you want to find out more shortcuts and ways to get the most out of your study, your graphic design, and all tech things and futurist things that are coming out of the woodwork at the moment. It's a very exciting time.